What's going on, gun lovers? It's Rizzo. We're back today. We're going to have a heated topic. Why do liberals hate guns? Now, this is an attack on liberals. It's not an attack on Democratic policies, maybe. But I just want to try to get into the root cause of why liberals hate guns. So we're going to get into it.
Everybody ready?
Yeah. I ain't shooting this thing. I hate guns.
Now me, I fucking love guns.
Alright, so a little while back, a few years ago, they had the Safer Communities Act, and of course, there's another piece of gun control legislation that actually a couple of Republicans voted for. Of course, Republicans went crazy calling them rhinos, but all the Democrats voted. Well, most of the Democrats voted for it. So, and every time we have gun control legislation, or even a proposal, you get a lot of strong emotions behind it between liberals and conservatives.
How do you feel about gun control?
I don't think we need more gun control.
I mean, gun control means we're wimps and we're soft on crime.
So my question kind of was, why does gun control always cause such a rift between conservatives and liberals? And why are liberals always gun control as if gun control is the answer? And we're going to get into how it's not the answer. We're just talking about why they love gun control so much, why they hate guns. All right, so let's dive in.
Less gun control, of course.
All right, so like I said, we're going to dive into this hot button issue, if I can get my mouth straight.
I can't talk.
Why do liberals hate guns? All right, we know gun control is one of the most divisive topics in American politics, just one of the most divisive topics, period, all right? With liberals and conservatives often on opposite sides. Every now and again, you'll get a liberal that's against gun control, and you will get some folks like to call them rhinos that vote for gun control. Of course, when it comes to voting time, they try to change their their opinions around. But yeah, we're going to get into why liberals hate guns today.
Why is that? Why do they hate us so much?
So why do liberals tend to have a negative view toward guns and the Second Amendment? It's several reasons, and it's not just about hating guns. A lot of them do, but I don't think that's the root cause of it. So we're going to just dig a little deeper and get into some of these deeper beliefs and values that some of these liberals have. I had to put my thinking cap on for this one. All right, so now let's look at some historical context. All right, so one of the first reasons I think of is public safety concerns. Legitimately on their side, I think they have some serious issues about public safety concerns. So liberals a lot of times prioritize public safety, and they really do believe that stricter gun control laws will reduce gun violence and mass shooting. Now, those of us in the gun industry, in the 2A community, we know that's not true.
We know that's not true.
But, they argue that fewer guns on the streets will lead to fewer incidents of gun-related crime. Even though we know that these gun-free zones and things like that don't work. Just a stat the other day about most of the crimes and most of the mass shootings happens in gun-free zones, and a significant amount of them are stopped by a person that had a gun. But you can't carry a gun legally inside a gun-free zone, so it's a horrible idea. Gun control, gun-free zones do not work, but they just want to make everything. Why do you think all these mass shootings and these shootings happens in these gun-free zones, in schools and places like that? Because there's nobody there with the gun, and the criminals know. These sick, depraved individuals know they can go someplace and kill as many people as they want without being stopped. So gun-free zones don't work, but the liberals think that in their mind, stricter gun control laws are going to reduce violence and mass shootings. Stricter gun control laws are just going to hamper law-abiding citizens. The criminals already don't care. So,
I think you guys love guns as much as I love guns, right?
Another reason that I think cultural differences. For a lot of liberals, guns are associated with violence and aggression. This cultural perception, it kind of influences their stance on gun ownership and gun rights. If I'm being totally honest with where I grew up, from where I'm from, I don't know, this may be a city, black community, whatever you want to call it, but when I grew up, guns were taboo. If you had a gun, you were a bad guy. Nobody good had guns, That's kind of unless you were not hunting, stuff like that. And that's how I found out recently when I really got into shooting real big. I found out that I had family members that was going to the range every day, but we didn't talk about it because we always just kind of assumed that the other one was liberal, the other one didn't like guns. And then we got to talking about it. They saw me on, YouTube doing videos. They're like, wait a minute, you shoot? I shoot. But that stigma of guns are bad and we not talking about it, even amongst ourselves, amongst my family, we didn't even talk about it because that just cultural thing of if you have a gun, guns are bad. That stigma, that stereotype was always there. And I think that in the liberal community, the Democratic community, that's how they view things. They view guns as being bad. And in their mind, anything to get rid of guns is good. That's a stupid way to look at it, but that's how it is. Not get rid of the criminals, get rid of the guns, okay? Don't make a lot of sense, but hey, I don't make the rules.
But what can I do? I'm just one guy.
All right, and let's talk about the government role in this, all right? Liberals generally support a more active role for government in regulating various aspects of life, including firearms. They believe in big government, and that other government intervention can help create a safer society. We all know it's bullshit. But I think these people honestly believe that. And if you got the government and you got your politicians telling you that gun control will work and will eliminate crime, people that live in these crime-ridden neighborhoods are going to believe, hey, they can eliminate crime with gun control laws, even though you got hundreds of thousands of gun control laws on the book that don't work. Chicago, LA are some of the most, have some, New York, some of the strictest gun control laws on the book, and crime is rampant in these cities. So it doesn't work, but the government, a lot of Democrats, liberals believe that the government is going to reduce crime, even though most of these crimes happen in mostly Democratic cities. Ugh.
God, I love guns.
All right, so now let's talk about let's talk about the historical development of gun control laws and early regulations. Because gun control isn't a new concept. Early regulations date back to the 1930 with the National Firearms Act. It was aimed at curbing gang violence. And over time, additional laws were enacted to address growing concerns about public safety. So gun control, it's not recent, but it's not early on. With the Bruin Act, they talk about things that were enacted and in place around the founding of the Constitution. Well, Constitution was founded way before 1930. And you got gun control laws, a couple that were there before that, but basically 1930s, the NFA is kind of what started this thing. I think they wanted to get rid of machine guns, and it just went downhill from there. I want to talk about more modern legislation. 1994 assault weapons ban.
It's the worst thing ever.
But it's a significant example reflecting the liberal push to stricter gun control laws in response to rising crime rates and high-profile mass shootings. Now, we know that the assault weapons ban was basically useless. It was 10 years, and a lot of people don't realize that the reason it was 10 years was they said if after 10 years there's no statistical improvement, we'll drop it.
Not work, Michael. Okay?
Hey, okay.
Okay?
So after 10 years, there was no statistical improvement. Nothing changed. Assault weapon ban got dropped. Now you want to go back and do it all over again. For what? For what? People aren't walking around the street with their AR-15s, and AR-15s aren't an assault weapon. Assault weapon was a term that was made up, and they tried to use the term from assault rifles that we actually have in the military. Have assault rifles that shoot full auto. So let's ban the gun that looks like it. That's just their way of, let's ban the big scary black gun. Yours might be FDE, but the big scary black gun, let's just get it off the street. And that's just the beginning. They get rid of assault weapons, they're going to get rid of everything else they can. So these things don't work. Let's talk about, consider the case of the Parkland shooting in 2018. The aftermath of that saw a massive movement, young activists calling for stricter gun control laws. This movement kind of highlighted the strong opposition of many liberals toward gun ownership. That's driven by a desire to prevent such tragedies in the future. But statistics show that states with stricter gun control laws often have lower rates of gun-related deaths. That's what they tried to say. And that kind of bolstered the liberal argument for more regulation. But you know, we kind of see they kind of switch both sides and kind of switch statistics whichever way you want it to be. All right. So when you sit here and say less guns equal more crime, but then you go to cities that have more guns and they have less crime. Yeah, less guns equal less crime if it's less guns in the hands of criminals. It really makes no sense to say less law-abiding citizens having guns is going to be less crime. No, less criminals having guns will be less crime. It's kind of common sense, but
all right, that makes sense.
Sometimes you can't tell everybody everything. All right, so like I said, we're gonna get too deep into it. I just want to kind of hit some of the reasons. So wrap it up. The liberal aversion to guns is rooted on a deep-seated belief about public safety, cultural perceptions of violence, and the role of government in regulating firearms. I believe that these beliefs drive to push for stricter gun control laws, which they believe will lead to a safer society. Yeah. You see me laughing, and if you are a gun grabber, a gun control advocate, you may be like, why? Because it's just like some of these things that are said and that you guys do just make absolutely no sense. But what are your thoughts on the subject? Share your perspectives in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking videos. At least I hope it was kind of thought-provoking. All right, let's keep the conversation going. Until again, you guys stay safe, shoot straight, keep trading. We'll get at you later. Gun control sucks and it's racist. Put that on.